the dice draw, gaining realms of muscles drawn. Together in this place where we belong. Doting spells, casting dreams until the dawn. Leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright. Venturing onward in the endless night. Where the brawn meets the brush. The story's told in the storm of imagination mold. With every stroke, the fantasy unfold. Peace of my soul, our soul. Where the brawn meets the brush. The story's told in the storm of imagination mold. With every stroke, the fate to light for. Peace of my soul, our soul.
Hello, people. Welcome. Let's just move this out of the way for a moment so I can say to you, welcome. Happy Friday. It's Minis-N-Muscles, the place where you need to be on a Friday at 7 p.m, where the brawn meets the brush, where we here do a lot of talking around geeky subjects whilst we paint miniature figures. So from the Warhammer world to D&D and everything in between. I paint models and we talk geek, from Pokemon to retro games to D&D and anything else in between that you fancy talking about. So we have 2 hours on our show every week and you get to listen to me witter on like a madman. And we go through a general agenda every week. So we talk about a couple of different things. We have a main topic of conversation. Then we have our muscle moment, and it wouldn't be Minis-N-Muscles if we didn't talk about a little bit of fitness. So we have our muscle moment. That's normally about halfway through the show. And that's normally, quick fitness, 10 minutes on fitness. And then we go into later on with about 15 minutes to go. We do our hobby horror moments. So this week, our agenda or our sort of general chat for this session is all about fitting geek life into real life. So how do we make geek life fit into real life? We're going to talk all about that. That's the topic of conversation. So stick it in the chat. Start talking about how you fit your geek life into real life. Then our muscle moment, let me check my notes, but our muscle moment is going to be staying motivated kind of motivational points for the gym. So we're going to talk about that and what I do. And then for our hobby horror moment, it's called The Bidding Black Hole. The Bidding Black Hole. So we'll get onto that later. But let's crack on nonetheless. And given it's Friday, given we've made it to the end of the week, give yourselves a massive pat on the back. You can sit back, relax, because I'll take it from here. I'll look after you on this Friday evening with geekery and craziness. How was your week? Did you have a good week? Has it been a good one for you? Drop it in the chat. That's the first thing I want to know about you guys and gals that are watching. And there's plenty of you watching, whether you're watching on catch-up or watching live with me. There's plenty of you, so stick it in the chat. Let me know how you are, even if it's post-live. Stick it in the comments. I'll always do my very best to reply as quickly as possible. So how is... so you man the floor? What do you mean? You man the floor? You mean the floor? I don't know what you mean by I mean the floor, Elias. Not sure. But what we will do this week is stick it in the chat. Let me know how you've been on your Friday. That's the first thing I want to know. I always ask you guys because I care about every single one of you. So tell me how you've been this week. My week this week has been okay, not a bad one. Pretty busy. Lots of modelling and lots of doing bits and bobs. Just before actually I started the live stream, I was doing some modelling and I was changing some bases. So I was actually putting some of my Seraphim onto new bases. So Sisters of Battle themed bases. And to take them off the old bases, I was digging them off and then I stabbed myself twice. And I ended up shoving this pointy thing straight into my thumb. So that wasn't too good. The hobby horror. So the hobby horror, what did I say it was? What did I say the topic was? The bidding black hole. So the hobby horror is the bidding black hole. And I will allude to that later, Elias. Don't you worry. But yeah, my week has been pretty good. Full of lots of hobbying since I last spoke to you guys. I did play a game of Warhammer. Got beat again. Not a problem. I did say in my first year of playing Warhammer, because I've not played a lot until only recently, and I said the first year of playing Warhammer, I'm happy to lose. So happy to lose because it's all learning. So I'm taking it all as learning points. Don't get me wrong, it's frustrating that you lose, but as long as you take something from it every time, I'm seeing it as a plus. So I've done lots of gaming. I've done lots of painting. I've just literally before the show, I've just sort of sprayed up these guys, which are Crusaders. So they go with my Sisters of Battle army, but they're special legendary characters that I can have in my army, or actually squad, not character. We might use those to paint today if there's any break in the model that we're doing. And currently we're continuing on with this beast because I want to get this finished. This massive gunship. So last week we sort of finished off. We did a few more colours and bits and bobs, but we finished off with these transfers on the wings and on the front there. So we've got 4 more to do. So we've got one on the side, one on the back tail there, and then same on the opposite. So we'll finish that and then try and just mop up any other bits and bobs around the model that I see that we can do. There's a couple of little bits. There is some sort of shading on here. So if you see the kind of lines that we've got on this, like here, I just want to drop some shade oils into those lines just to make them more easy to view. So we will do that. And then if we've got any sort of time, we'll crack on and we'll start doing these Crusaders just because it's slightly different. But yeah, that's kind of what we're going to do today. Hopefully that is of interest to you. So yeah, drop it in on the chat. How has your week been? I want to know from you all. There's a couple of you online now. Tell me how your week's been. And whilst you're dropping that in the chat, I'm going to get out my wet palettes. And I've got my clean water. Have you got your clean water ready? There is my clean water right here. Make sure you've got yours ready if you're painting along. Not necessarily painting the same model as me, but if you're just continuing your hobby world. Or perhaps you've got your Pokemon cards out and you're putting them out into your folder because you're trying to master a set. Talking of Pokemon, I'm very close to mastering my second set. I've got a few more to do, but I'm probably over 90% done now on Stellar Crown set. So that's really cool. So I'm excited to finish that off. Oh, JPC, it's about to be great. Leaving work soon. Come on, get out that door, JPC, as quickly as you can. But obviously, of course, keep Minis and Muscles on. That's a priority, right? That's a must, JPC. I hope you're well over in the US. What else? What else do I want to catch you guys up on? Nothing else really. I did get some new Nintendo games. So my Nintendo Entertainment System from 1980. Actually, my one was made in 1991 because I have the receipt in the box for it from 1991. But it's actually back in the 88, I want to say. No, actually, maybe it was before then, the first one. If anyone knows when the first Nintendo Entertainment System is, drop it in the chat. I think it might be 88. Let me check. That's got me now. NES release date. When was that? 83. God, no way. So it was released 85 as the NES. So it was the Famicom before in Japan. 85. Okay, got you. Right, mine was 91. It's a very late one, actually. But I did get a couple new games for that. That's very geeky. So I got Days of Thunder, as in the movie with Tom Cruise starring. So I got the game to that, and I got a game called Defender of the Crown. Both of those games actually won the Days of Thunder game my cousin had, and I used to borrow it because I never had a racing game until a little bit later, and I did get an off-road one. And I had that Defender of the Crown. And as a kid, I could never play the Defenders of the Crown game. So I did pick that up the other day. using my favourite second-hand website. But anyway, oh, I forgot we didn't put any music on, did we? There we go. There we are. Lovely. So let's crack on then with today's show. I was sort of chatting away there. There we are. And let's zoom in. Oh dear, we've got a bit of an issue here, haven't we? Let's move that out the way. Let's just square this off, shall we? Because right now, we've got a slight... There we go. Whoop. Ha! Perfect. So we can get our plane in there, or our gunship, sorry, not plane. It's a gunship. We get the gunship in there, and let's start with some of these transfers. So we've got 4 more transfers to do. So I'd love to get these finished today. Because there's only these 4. So they're just more ultramarine signs that we're going to put on. So again, all you need to do is, I'll do it here, look, so you can see. Take your water, just drop them in, it's fine. Take the other one and drop that one in as well. There you go. So just drop them into the water like so. Let them soak a little bit. And then we're going to place these ones onto the sides here. So this is where they're going. So again, when a blooming model like this is made, you forget how awkward they are to do. But if you're doing your transfers, make sure you've got your tweezers. I use tweezers for mine. Get your paintbrush as well, because you will need a paintbrush just to get the transfer off and onto the model. So let's just see if this one's ready. Sometimes they're not quite ready. It needs a little bit longer. Right, let's just put that there. I might as well stick those in as well, actually. I'll get the other 2 in there just so they're in. Otherwise, we won't have anything else to do. And the other thing I'm going to do is drop some Nuln Oil. So Nuln Oil is a shade from Citadel. And all we're going to do, if I zoom in here, you can start to see the little, as I zoom in, these little patterns like this. I'm just going to drop the Nuln Oil into these patterns and recesses just to make all of that stand out more. It just has a nice little effect that really sort of makes the wings and the pattern of the metal stand out. Elias is saying in the chat, my snake is trying to leave his terrarium. Oh, crikey. Don't let him go, Elias. That's not good. But hopefully you guys are all well anyway, and you've had a great week of geeking. I've not had a bad week of geeking. Not a bad week of work, sorry. Right, there's one. Okay, so I've just slid that onto the side there. Now all I need to do is just reposition it. Like so. And just use your paintbrush just to push it round slightly. There we go. So it's slightly up. There we go, like that. There we are, perfect. Okay, oh, I've just realised I've got no water. That's not good. So let's just swap to that. I have got water, but what I don't have is I don't have any tissue paper. Bear with me a second. There we go. Oh, sorry, I've changed the camera to the wrong camera. Whew. I just need some tissue paper for my paintbrush. Otherwise, I won't be able to do no painting. So we've done that one. Let's get the other one out. Let's flip this round. There we are. Same applies. Oh, sorry, I didn't change the camera again. What am I doing today? I'm all sorts. Get your transfer, get your paintbrush, and then all you're going to do is just gently with the paintbrush go to the edge of the transfer and just slide it off of the backing. Okay, once it's slid off, you can drop the backing paper. You can then take the model and then you start to use your paintbrush just to manipulate and move the transfer around the body or wherever you're trying to put it. Just be ever so careful. You see there where I poked it and it just... Oh, move that slightly. If you see there, can you see the slight kink that I've got in that one? If you're not careful, as you're pushing these round, you can tear them. Now sometimes they actually look quite cool when they've got a little tear in, because it looks a bit like a battle scarring type thing. But just be careful, because it can ruin the whole transfer, which you don't want to do really. Oh, this one's not playing game. So sometimes when they're a little bit too dry, they become really hard to push round. So you might just, what I did there is I got my paintbrush, dipped it in a bit of water, and then you can see now how much easier that slips around the surface of the gunship. What I want to do is just gently lift that up. I just want to check the positioning of this. Can you see where I've got it just above these two little parts here? I just want to see that that is identical on that side. Yeah, and it's about a little bit higher up. So let's see if we can get her a bit higher up. Oh, bit across. It's a bit of to and fro. Oh god, a bit of to and fro with these, and just be really careful, because as you can see, it's a tiny little push will send the transfer, especially if it's quite damp, right across the other side. But there you go, they're both on, which is good. Now for the tail ones, same applies. Oh, so what you do have to be careful of is what's just happened there to me. I left these transfers in the water too long, and what can happen is these oh, you can't really see that. There you go, bit better light. These transfers can come off of the backing paper, and when they do, they float around the water, and you have to be ever so careful, and you try and get them back on this blue paper. If you try and pick them up with your paintbrush, it will all go to crap. So do not try that. Try and use your tweezers and use the backing paper as best you can to get it back on. So you have to trust me now, because I can't really show you just yet. Right, there we go. Right, this is the next one we're doing. So you can see there's quite a lot of water. I'll wick that away in a minute with a bit of tissue paper, because otherwise it will never go flat. Oh, hold up. There we go. And I just gently placed the tissue paper on top of the transfer, and it just sucked all the water away and allowed the transfer to go onto the surface of the model. There we go. It's about right. Let's do the other side. Just place that down there. Get my tweezers and grab this one out of the water. Got to be very careful, because this one again looks like it's about to come off of the backing, which is not so good. Righty, so we're going to stick this one onto this side. Almost lost it. Right, get rid of that. And let's start jigging this one around. Once you get into the flow of it, they do move quite easily. You can start to get the position quite quick. It's just getting used to doing it in the first place. There we go. I tell you what, I did miss at the other weekend actually, just after the last live stream. I missed a Pokemon sort of selling event, so I was gutted, because I could have gone to that and got a few more for my Pokemon collection. Damn it! Right, there we go. 4 transfers on. Look at that. As quick as anything. You can see the ones on the back there. There you go. And you can see the ones on the wings, and you can see one on the front, and you've got the ones on either side. So those are done. Great. There we go. Let's just get rid of those. Chuck them down there. Just dry my table. I don't want water across the table. Elias is saying he hasn't painted the whole week. Oh man, what are you doing? Elias, you must be painting. That's sacrilege. Absolute sacrilege. But I'll let you off. It's okay. We'll still be friends, alright? But you must make sure that you paint every week. 'Tis the law. So what I'm going to do now is, as I mentioned earlier, we've got these areas here, and I just want to add a little bit of Nuln oil into those areas. So you don't need a huge brush because you're literally just running. Oh crikey! You're running the shade just around these cracks around here. That's it. So you don't need a huge amount. What some people do is, one tip is, if you've got areas like this and you just want to shade, if you pre-wet it, the shade can actually run around quicker and it doesn't go over the edge. Just because it means that for some reason, the way water works, it just follows the crack around. So let's just try this. There we go. Here we are. So that's all I'm doing. You can see just the difference between the one on the left and the one on the right. It's not a huge amount. It's quite subtle. It's nothing crazy, but it just gives it that extra effect. And I like that attention to detail on the model. And you just be very careful and just run your paintbrush around the edge, and you'll find that the Nuln oil will just soak into that gap quite nicely without much trouble. Shade paints like this are really easy when you're working with recesses. There we go. Alrighty, so there's those two done. I'm just going to do all of these bits on here. It's going to take a little bit of time, but it will be worth it. Which way do I start? Without my head in the way, I think is the right way. There we go. And again, if you go slightly over the edge, don't worry, because the way the shade paints will dry, generally speaking, you won't see it. If you're really worried about it, just get a little bit of a little bit of water on your brush, and just go over that edge where you've gone just over. And generally speaking, you can get rid of that shade that's just run over the edge. There we go. So see, we just got a little bit of a dark shade that goes across. I love it. I think it looks epic. Ooh, that's a little bit too much there. So where I've pressed a little bit hard, or too hard, on the paintbrush, it actually goes into the recess, but the bristles splay a little bit, and then they go over the edge, so you get a little bit of run. So let's just show you here what you can do. And that's with a clean brush. I've just gone over the edge and just taken it off. So it comes off really easy. So that will dry and you won't even notice that. So shade paints, very cool. Squarish, how you doing? Haven't seen you in a while, sir. Hope you're well. I don't have models right now, as Elias is saying. That's why he hasn't painted. Well, Elias, you need to get yourself down to your friendly local game store, and you need to buy yourself a new model. perhaps if you've saved some money up, or if you've, you know, done something exceptional this week, maybe you can get yourself a new model as a treat. I did buy a model the other day. You all would have seen the Warhammer Space Marine video game. In fact, I played it here on the channel on a live once. I should do that again, actually. I got the character from that, Titus, so I got him as a individual model. So I did buy that because he's an Ultramarine, so he goes with this army. So how are you, Squarish? How you doing? Oh, this process is much easier with my guards. Just dip the whole model in. You can do that, you know, like shade paints. I've done that before on previous models. You can just grab your model and just dip the model into the shade paint, or literally get a bigger brush and just go around the whole thing. And it does work, but there are areas sometimes on a model that you want to leave clean. And we know that here on Minis-N-Muscles, I like a clean model in terms of the paint quality and how it looks. There are models, though, that really do go well with that sort of dirty vibe. So, you know, if, I don't know, you're doing a D&D orc boss or something, you might just want to get the shade and drop the model in the shade pot if you can fit him in. There's nothing wrong with that. It will bring out all of the recesses in the model, and it still look cool. But I just do like the clean effect. Fortunately. And this doesn't actually take that long. I mean, it is a bit of an embuggerance sometimes, but I think it's worth it at the end. Because a shade would go across all this lovely blue, you see. Whereas this is, I'm literally picking out areas, right? Which I do prefer. But if you're a beginner painter, actually, using shade paints, as Squarish had mentioned, where you can literally just put it across your entire model, it can take your model from looking pretty average to actually something really good. So do experiment with them. They're really easy to paint with shades. They're not difficult to paint with. And you can have a lot of fun with what they can bring out of your model. Anyway, I was meant to be talking about... What was I supposed to be talking about today? I've just been whittering on. Oh yeah, fitting geek hobbies into real life. That's what I was supposed to be talking about. But I completely forgot to talk about it. Well, the reason why I thought I'd choose the topic of fitting geek life into real life is because I was thinking the other day, and I was like, oh, I've got so many models to paint, and I've got this to do, and I haven't played this new retro game that I bought, and I hadn't done that, and I haven't done this. And fitting geek hobbies sometimes into real life can be an absolute pain. By the way, just here, I went over the edge on this little corner here. Another brilliant thing about shade paint is you can literally get your finger, and if you're quick, just dab it across. You can take the shade paint off, and then you don't get any spillover. So there's another quick little tip. Oh, Elias saying, but I'm broke. Elias, then you need to go get a job. Or not you haven't got a job. You need to go do a job to earn some more money. Sell some old models maybe. Or perhaps do a job for a family member. Or, you know, something along those lines. There's always ways to make money, Elias. Always. Squarish is saying, yeah, my guards are very trench warfare style. Lots of oil spills and rust. Like you say, it's about picking which areas not to shade. They're covered in mud and dirt, but the rifles are kept clean. Yeah, exactly. And that's kind of the beauty. And that's another thing that's why model painting's really cool, because as Squarish has mentioned there, he'll paint his models in that way. I'll paint my models another way, and then Elias will paint his models in a certain way. You know, we could all have the same army, but they will look completely different because of the painting style, and I love that. I love that you can have such individuality. I'm not really one that likes to sort of have the same as everybody else. I like to have different things. I like to be different from the, you know, every other bugger. Yeah, but what was I talking about? I was talking about fitting geek life into real life. And that was because sometimes I feel that all my geek hobbies take up so much time. Not that I'm bothered about that. I'm absolutely fine with it taking up so much time because I love them. But it also means there's only so many hours in a day. So you can only get so much geek hobbying done. And I was getting really frustrated with not being able to do certain things that I wanted to do. So also what I'm going to do on this model here is just paint in the non-oil into the recesses of these air filters here, just to make those stand out. I left them blue underneath. I didn't see any point in actually painting them black. This is a far quicker way of doing it, and it will give you the same effect. But yeah, how do you go about fitting all these hobbies into your life when life is really busy? You only get 24 hours in a day, and you know, I want to do so many stupid, crazy things. I just don't get the time to do it. So, you know, you've got your family commitments. You know, whether that's like an aunt and uncle's birthday or whatever. You know. It's always really difficult to fit in hobbies. So how do we go about doing that? Or what's my sort of advice for that? Well, and by the way, my advice is not golden, and I'm certainly not the oracle when it comes to this kind of thing. But you're going to have to sacrifice something. To do anything in life, you're always going to have to sacrifice something else. Now, generally speaking, it's a geek hobby that will be sacrificed for another geek hobby. Recently, I've poured quite a lot of attention and effort into Warhammer because I'm trying to get better at playing it. So Warhammer's taken over from, you know, D&D, for example. It's taken over from Pokemon, and it's taken over from retro gaming and just gaming in general. Just because I've only got so many days to do things and work is busy, so, you know, and when you run out of this time, it's just frustrating. So try and pick the one thing that you're currently enjoying the most. You'll love all of your hobbies, of course, and they're never going to go anywhere, but pick that one thing and just give that one thing your attention for a little bit of time. See how you get on. So that's my first tip. I can't, I'm too young. Oh no, Elias, so you're too young to get a job. Okay, so how old are you, Elias, if you don't mind me asking? Is there a way you could do, like, I know you're in Denmark, but here in the UK, for example, you can, even if you're not an adult, you can still do jobs like delivering newspapers. So you can deliver newspapers, and you can do that as, I think, 13 or 14. Something like that. You don't get paid a huge amount, but it's enough. Maybe you could cut the neighbour's lawn so you could get the mower out, or you could do jobs for your dad, right? So there you go. There's lots of things you can do. You could offer to do something in exchange for money, as in, oh well, you need that job doing, Dad, so I'll do that for you if you pay me. You know? So there's always people that want to save time. So I think you know, especially when you're younger, you have a lot of opportunity to be able to, well, you've got a lot more time than most people. So you have the advantage there, Elias, that you have more time available. So you could go to these people that are short on time. So, you know, if you lived on my road, for example, and you knocked on the door and said, hey, Steve, can I mow your grass? I'd be like, okay, I will give you, you know, £20 or whatever it is to mow the grass. There's always ways to do it, Elias. There's always ways. Squarish is saying, I'm lucky that I'm a massive camera geek and managed to make it my day job. Yeah, man. To be fair, you know, you are super lucky in that sense, Squarish, that you've got that job that, you know, you love and it's your hobby. That is like, you've hit the jackpot, man. Let's be fair. You have hit the jackpot. It's like if I got to do this, you know, every single day. Oh, man. So I could stream every day and, you know, paint models. Jeez, that would be amazing. If that ever happened, I'd literally... I don't know what I'd do. I'd be so chuffed. Now, I don't expect that to happen anytime soon. But there are jobs out there where you can fall into them, like Squarish there. Or you know, I don't mean fall into it in a mean way. I mean, because everyone has to work very hard to get to their jobs. But I mean, you know, are lucky enough to come across that opportunity, and you take the opportunity with both hands and you run with it and you find a job that you love. Now, if you can do that, ooh. I wish I could. I'd quite like to work for someone like Games Workshop or, you know, like a little local game store, but Games Workshop don't pay particularly well. That's the only drama with those guys. They earn a lot of money, and ironically, actually, Games Workshop this year, I think they're giving their employees a split of £20 million because of the amount of profit they've made, which is great, right? And I'm not dissing that at all. I just think that they've made so much money over the years. 20 million is almost like a drop in the ocean in terms of what profit they've made. You know, if you look at the past, if you just went from COVID, so the time from COVID, they made loads of money. They could have given their employees 20 million to split amongst them every year, and they would still have tons in the bank. Companies should do more to look after their employees, but not many do, really, to be fair. Sorry for those younger people that are watching to shoot down your dreams, but companies don't tend to look after people that well, from my experience and my knowledge of the working world. What else are we saying? Oh no! Good idea, but I got to go. Bye. Okay, Elias, no worries. Take it easy. Stay safe. Go and do that job. Go earn that money to get a new model. Adrian's saying another shower, Elias. He might be. You never know. How are you, Adrian? Hope you're well. Welcome onto the stream this evening. How's Tricks? How are you keeping? Squarish, it's great. There are some dangers to turning a hobby to a job. Trying to work on some new projects, but it's taken a lot of learning new business and policy just to make things out. I did apply for a job for the video production team at Games Workshop and left the arm, but I didn't get it. Oh man, that's a bit of a bummer. Yeah, I completely understand what you're saying about, you know, turning your hobby into a job. So before I got back into models, one of my hobbies was just fitness, right? So it has been for a long time, and when you do that day in, day out, it can destroy your hobby a little bit, because when you're teaching someone about fitness all day long, you don't really want to do it yourself. You come to your training session and you've been training every other bugger and you're like, I can't be arsed tonight, I don't really feel it, and you can end up with that kind of burnout. So completely get what you mean there, Squarish. Very, very true. Let's flip this over. Let's start this end, shall we? Start on the tail. So it's a shame though that you didn't get the job at GW when you left the military. Although it's a shame, but you wouldn't then be where you are now. So actually, was it good that that happened? Yeah, I think so. And you don't know what will happen in the future as well, so it might be that, you know, the gods just didn't decide that it was your time right at that moment. They needed you to wait for something of some sort. Who's to say? What was my other point I was going to bring up about fitting your hobby into the real world? So like, yeah, you do get like guilt of unfinished projects. So, you know, I shared with you guys my pile of shame, and I have full intention of painting all those models. I really do, apart from the ones I sold. But you do feel guilty, but you shouldn't. Like, if you watch my pile of shame video, at the end I sort of talk about the value of my pile of shame and why I'm not bothered about it. So yeah, it's worth a watch, just to sort of, even if you just watch the last 5 minutes or so on that one, because you shouldn't ever feel guilty about your hobby. Hobbies keep you sane, keep you happy, keep you healthy, in mind, as in, you know, not just body, unless your hobby is just running or something, or just the gym. I say just, it's not just, is it? But you know what I mean. What else was I going to say? Yeah, so with your hobbies and fitting it into the, you know, the real world, 99.9% of people, you know, will have to work of some sort. So in work, you will have a diary, right? And you will have, you know, meeting X, and you have to do this by this date and blah, 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 blah. Well, why don't you do the same for yourself? So you have your own personal diary where you book in hobby time. So if you need some man time, take some damn man time and go and do your hobby. There is nothing wrong with that at all. It's actually very, very healthy to go and do this kind of thing. It protects you, you know, in that mental capacity, and that's super important. So I would very much advise people, if they can, take a moment and book out your own personal diary. Set it up on your phone or whatever, and give yourself a personal diary and put in some man time. Just call it man time or girl time or whatever, and set that aside for you. Everybody deserves that, whether you are, you know, single ready to mingle or you're a mother of 3. You still deserve that time by yourself, and you should always try to give yourself something. That doesn't mean the world, and that doesn't mean you're going to neglect everybody and forget everyone else. It's just a tiny small piece of time that you're setting aside for you. Again, it's all about protecting your mind, your body, and that could be the difference between, you know, being able to cope with things and having a bad week, right, where you feel that you can't cope. So if anything you can take away from this chat today about, you know, separating or segregating some time for you, is go and get yourself a diary. Book that diary out and give yourself some lady time, man time, whatever you want to call it, for the geeky hobbies. Because come on, geeks have the most fun, right? Everyone else is super boring. Geeks are just fun. Geeks are cool. Don't be super boring like everyone else. Oh, it's a bit too much. Just be careful when you are doing this line work, right? If you take too much of the Nuln oil, it just goes crazy. And you know when it's too much, because the end, I don't even see that there. Can you see the end of my brush is just is slightly bulbous? That's exactly what you don't want. You don't want the end of your brush to be like looking like that. You just want it to look like the bristles, but like the bristles are stained dark. That's all you need. So just be very careful when you're adding on this null oil into the gaps. Just be gentle. So how else do you guys fit your hobbies into your personal lives? How do you guys go about doing that? So if you've got an answer for me there, drop it into the chat. Tell me how you guys, what do you do to make sure that you get your hobby, whatever that hobby is right now, your favourite thing, how do you go about fitting that into your life right now? What is it you do that makes sure that you get the time to paint your Warhammer or to play D&D or whatever that is? How do you guys do that? That's what I want to know. Drop it in the chat. Tell me. What else are we saying in the chat? It's a shame, but it did work out for the better. The job I ended up was giving me a much broader skill set. Ah, yeah, see? See, there's always a way. There's always a reason. I'm just going to adjust this lamp a bit. Just to give me a bit of a higher bit of light. Yeah, see, Scratch, there's always a reason why, man. JPC has made it home. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Well done, JPC. You are home, sir. Now it's time for your hobbies. And of course, watching Minis-N-Muscles. It's the only thing to do on a Friday. Right, right. Am I right, peeps? Am I right? Da-da-da. What I love about this shade and shade paints is that they just run so quickly and easily. You can just drop it in. Oh, you can't quite see that. You can drop it into those little bits there, and it's dry within 2 seconds, and it's done. Whereas if you were trying to paint that with usual acrylic paint, you know, it's an absolute nightmare sometimes. But just dropping in the shade is perfect. It will give you that colour that you require without having to go to all the effort. So definitely use this little method. Just got little bits here to do. Need a bit more. There we go. Nice. Oh, didn't do those. A couple of little more of these little grills here to do. Again, just dropping the paint in, filling up the hole with the paint, or the shade, whatever you want to call it. It's not a drama. Drop it in. The more the better, as long as it doesn't go over the edge of the hole, that is. If it's sitting in the hole, perfect. Got a couple of these little bits up here. Yeah, so this little method's quite nice. It's quick and easy. It's not difficult to do. It's not technical, but it brings out a layer of the model that you might previously have missed. And it just gives it that little bit more to look at. There we go. There, and there. What else we got here? We've got those bits. We're still going to have to do these bolters, actually. We've got the lights as well to do. So there is quite a lot on this, you know. Even though you kind of sit there and think, yeah, I've done it, I've finished it, there's not much to do. Actually, there is. You start looking around it and there's little details everywhere. And again, you can get quite bogged down in models, and you can get sort of, you know, you can go down the rabbit hole and you'll end up doing absolutely everything. You don't have to. If this is good enough, this standard as it is now, for you to stick on the table and you're happy to use it, then do that. Don't worry about doing absolutely everything. You're not painting this for a competition. You're painting it for you and only you. So do it to the standard that suits you and to your time. And that sort of links into, you know, today's topic about fitting in geek hobbies. If you're collecting Warhammer, spending your entire time painting one model is never going to get you playing the game, so you're going to miss out on your geek. So why not just spend a little less time on the paint, don't worry too much about it, and get out onto the battlefield and start playing the game. Far better. So on these grills here, I'm just going to drop a load into there, like that. Does that come off? I can't remember. Just have to twist that to the side and do the same here. Again, it's an easy way now to fill in the grills. Just dropping this paint, because the silver still pokes through anyway. So just dropping the paint into the grill. Perfect. Fills that space. Looks good. Silver still comes through. Job done. Another quick little trick. So rather than blue showing through, we'll have black showing through instead, which is exactly what we want, right? It's meant to look like a grill of some sort. In this case, we can load our paintbrush up with a little bit more. So don't worry if you've got a big blob on there. Absolutely fine. Just be careful that you don't go over the edges, because that's not what you want. There you go. I mean, it won't be perfect coverage, and it won't look as good as if you did go with black on the underside here and then put the grey grills over the top. But this is a far quicker method, and it's easier. There's less mistakes that you can make, and it's easier to rectify. You know, if you go over the edge with this, that's fine, that's easy. But if you'd have painted this grill black in the first place, and then you were trying to overlay the silver, you can make a million cock-ups of the grill, and you'd have to do it again and again and again. Not what you want, right? Sometimes as well, you'll see where you haven't quite got much of the paint into the recess, so you might have to go over it again for a second time. That's not a drama, don't worry about it if you do. It's just part and parcel of it. You'll see that as you go around the model itself. So what else we got here that I was going to talk about? So I was talking about setting me time and setting time aside for your side, no matter who you are. You know, you could be Tanya from Telford and you're a mother of 3. You know, that's absolutely fine. Set some time for yourself. You are still a valuable person. So set yourself some time so you can then indulge in the hobby that you love, that keeps you, and then you'll find yourself that you've got more mental headspace to be Mum of the Year as well. Background hobbies. So what do I mean by background hobbies? So what you can do, you might not be able to play Warhammer every day, but what you could do is you could listen to a podcast. If you're travelling and you do driving for a job, or perhaps you commute on the train, well, why don't you just get a podcast on the go? You could do that. That's easy enough to do. So there's always time to fit in other things. You know, you might be, I don't know, you might work from home. And if you're working from home, and I've done this before, in between a call, or I'd go from a call onto going to have dinner or lunch, and I just quickly grab a model, and I did that with these today. So these Crusaders, these guys here, all I did was throw them in a box outside, get my spray can and just spray them black, you know, and I let them dry. And then I finished the day. It took me 30 seconds to spray them black. Absolutely fine. What we're saying here, so I got shiz else going on. Daughter is grown and graduated. Ah, okay, cool. Well, that's all right though. That's good though, JPC. That just means that you can focus on you, and you can, you know, provide yourself that hobby relief. But it doesn't mean that you won't face the same problems that I might face. And, you know, in terms of, I want to play Pokemon, I want to play Warhammer, I want to play D&D. How do you then go about navigating all of those into your life without, you know, coming into work zones or you know, forgetting to do your laundry shopping, your food shopping, your grocery shopping, because you're playing D&D or whatever it is. How do you sort of navigate and get everything into one place? Sometimes it's quite hard. Squarish saying, I've got to shoot off, but hopefully catch you on the next one. Cheers. No worries, Squarish. Absolute legend for being on. I hope you're well. Hope you're good. Thank you for joining us. The rest of you that I can see in chat, and there's plenty of you in there, don't be afraid to say hello. Love to hear from you. It'd be really good just to hear some of you chat away. If you're a new timer to the show, welcome to Minis and Muscles. This is the place where the brawn meets the brush. We talk about everything from fitness all the way through to Pokemon, retro gaming, Warhammer, D&D. We talk about it all here. We're a big old family and we just chat about crap in the geek world. So if you like Harry Potter, let's talk about Harry Potter. Did anyone see the new cast released for the Harry Potter TV show? What does everyone think? Are they going to be as good as the originals? Who's to say? Sticking some black in there. There we go. Just give that grill a bit of definition. Lovely. Okay. What we've got down here, so we've got some lights to do down the front. So we've got a couple of lights here, a couple of lights here and here. So we should probably do those, shouldn't we, at some point? Anything else to do on the bottom? I don't think I'm going to do any else on the bottom. Actually, I did miss those bits, so let's do those. Da-da-da. Yeah, so make sure you give yourself time. Whatever that is, set some time aside for yourself. What about quick hobby wins? What do I mean by quick hobby wins? Well, I do mean that there are sometimes things you can do to score a good point rather than a 4-hour D&D or a 4-hour D&D session, or you know, a 2-hour Warhammer game or whatever it is. What about a 20-minute read up or brush up on some rules and regulations for Warhammer? You know, you can fit that in anywhere. So it's about also being a bit clever with your time. You won't be able to give your hobbies absolutely everything, but you can certainly fit it in amongst other life commitments. And it's just about being a little bit smart with how you do it. It doesn't always work out smart, trust me, I've tried. So sometimes you might fail on getting that smart thing done where you're thinking you're being clever about your hobby, and you might mess something up. But always try, see what you can do with 15 minutes. You'll be surprised. A lot of people write off small chunks of time like 15 minutes, but actually they can be more valuable than you realise. There was a guy once that I was reading a book of, and he was saying that he does everything. He books his whole diary out in 15-minute slots. And I don't know how personally he would fill his whole day, but I mean, I don't know actually. Maybe it does work. Maybe that is the best way. Book it out in 15-minute slots. I guess by doing it in 15-minute slots, you're never going to get bored of something, are you? So maybe this guy's onto something. Maybe that's why he's written a book and I haven't. Probably. So what else I want to talk about? So hobbies are hobbies, right? And we do them for fun. But hobbies, as I've always talk about, cross over into health and well-being. They allow you to de-stress and they allow you to recover from life, which is pretty bloody stressful. And, I don't think anyone can deny that, especially, the UK right now is a crazy place to live and it's all a bit stressful with cost of living and all of that sort of jazz. So, yes, you are going to do a hobby because it's a geeky hobby, you enjoy it. But actually, you could still assign that and say, well, I'm doing that because it's for my mental health break. Right? So I need a mental health break of, 10 minutes or whatever it is. and you go and do your hobby for that short amount of time. How about that? So it's another excuse almost to just go and do some hobbying for 15 minutes or so, just because it helps you think, gives you mental clarity, and enables you to do the things that you need to do every day. How about that as a cheeky little hack for life? Using your hobbies not just in a hobby time, but use it in a mental health capacity as well. So assigning that extra minutes purely because it helps you. Not a bad thing at all. Gets more geek time in, right? So if that means you do a 15-minute break every day at 3 o'clock for mental health break, and you go and play retro game in 15 minutes, absolutely awesome. Why bloody not? Every time I sort of paint these, I'm then thinking, oh, have I done this bit? Have I done that bit? Because you will notice that the shade paints don't they don't come out as black as you might think. They are really subtle. So you may need to do one or two areas, 2 or 3 times just to make it look decent. Which is fine, there's no problem in that. Right, there we go. Let's flip that over. Right, so you can see the lines stand out quite a bit now. They're not looking bad, right? I think it looks pretty good. So what's Adrian saying? Adrian is saying, I dug out my paints and bits to make a Devastator squad and a Sergeant in Mark III armour. Ooh, beakies. Get them out. Nice, Adrian. So I assume you are now going to put some pictures in the Discord. So for those of you who don't know, Minis-N-Muscles has a Discord channel, right? We have a Discord channel. You will find that Discord channel, and you'll find the link to that Discord channel in the info section on the YouTube page. That's it. It will come to me. On the YouTube page, you will find a link in the description for the link tree. Click on the link tree. The link tree will take you to another page and it will display a load of links for Minis-N-Muscles. One of those will be the Discord channel. Get onto that. Jump on in there and show me your minis. Get your minis, get them painted, stick them in there, and let's have a good old chat about it. Adrian said I posted it up on your Discord. Fantastic. So if I check now on my phone, let's see if Adrian's actually done it, shall we? Right, so we go across to the Minis-N-Muscles Discord. Oh, look at that. He's put it on there. He's put, I dug out my paints and bits so I can get creative. Ooh, I'm just looking at all the things you've got. Nice work, Adrian. What's that you've got there? Iron Hands Primaris upgrades. Ugh, the Iron Hands. But yeah, that's super cool. Even JPC's commented as well, so that's good. So everybody, if you're watching and you want to share your models that you're making with me, with others in the community, jump on the Discord and I'll give you a shout out and we can chat all about it. So let's just park the gunship for 1 second, 1 hot minute, to talk about our muscle moment. I can't flex very much because I'm really sore. I'm really sore, and some days when you're really sore, you go to flex and you just don't have the energy to do it. And I don't have the energy to do it. I'm just going to have a bit of water though. So we wouldn't be the place where the brawn meets the brush if we didn't talk about fitness for like 10 minutes, if that. So today I wanted to talk about music as motivation. We've spoken about motivation in general, but I wanted to talk about music. So I was in the gym the other day and I changed my playlist from a certain genre to another genre. And it just got me thinking about talking about it on the channel. What kind of music motivates you guys in the gym? Stick it in the chat if you want to talk about it. Stick it in the chat. Tell me what you listen to when you're in the gym, and we can talk about that. I started off the majority of my sort of big lift type sessions. I started off a couple of years back, and I was listening to sort of real sort of heavy rock, metally kind of guitar shredding kind of solo stuff. Not really vocals at all, just guitar shredding solos. It's epic. And it was sort of really getting me pumped up and psyched up for the gym. Now, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm slightly older now, and I thought, I just need something to chill out a little bit. And the last couple of times I've been to the gym, I've actually listened to country music whilst working out. You know, it says a lot for my genre of taste. It goes from, you know, hard rock to country. But it's super cool, right? And it's just nice to listen to something. So first tip for working out is create a power playlist. All right, whatever that is that gets you going, whether that's UK garage, whether it's hip hop, whether it's R&B, whether it's blues, classical, even a podcast, right? Even a motivational podcast, even watching me in the gym. How about that? You could stick it on YouTube and watch me in the gym. So find your music power playlist. So my favourite artists, who am I sort of listening to at the moment? I'm listening to loads of different... I'll tell you what I'll do is I'll actually talk to you about my playlist that I listened to the other day. Right, so my country playlist that I listened to the other day. So I've got my phone out now. I've got artists like Savannah Ray, Abby Anderson, Lainey Wilson, Granger Smith, Chris Stapleton, Jason Aldean. Loads of different country artists was what I was listening to. Let me find the actual playlist. Here we go. Yeah, Jacob Bryant, Taylor Phillips, and this was just random country people that I was listening to. Nothing crazy, nothing hardcore. It was just sort of chill country music, and it was just getting me through. So what you could do alongside your playlist is you could use your playlist to then inspire you to work to a certain routine. So perhaps you've got 50 minutes that you can dedicate to the gym. So get a 50-minute playlist. Make a 50-minute playlist so you know how long the whole thing is. Then every song that ends means that you should be changing exercises. So you've only got 3 minutes or whatever it is roughly to change exercises. So you start on bicep curls, right? You've got 3 minutes to do those. When that song changes, you need to change exercise. Next one, and repeat. So you're using your playlist as a guide to take you through your physical training session, right? How about that as an idea? You could, and I've spoken about it before, but you could train with a friend to help you motivate through it, but then you don't get the music element. And because you have to sort of repeatedly on and off with the earphones, and you have to listen to every other idiot in the gym. Not my cup of tea. What you could do is you could, and this is more a general motivation, you could reward yourself with goals. So if you set yourself a goal of bench pressing 100 kilograms and you get to that point, well, how about buy yourself a new model? See, start rewarding yourself for the effort you're putting in a gym. And lastly, always remember the reason why you're working out. It's not just to look body beautiful, it is to help the body and the mind. It helps de-stress, it helps take you away from all of the crazy things in the world like mobile phones and all that sort of jazz. And it keeps the body ticking over. No matter your age, it's good to do. All right, that was the muscle moment for the first time today. Second time today. So that is all I wanted to talk about today, just using music generally to help you, and what you could do with a couple of playlist ideas to motivate you through your workout. So, back to our gunship. Any questions, by the way, on the fitness? If there's ever any questions, stick it in the chat. If you want to know about fitness, if you want to know what I do, if you have a question because you're stuck, if you don't know what to do for XYZ reason, stick it in the chat. I'll help best I can, all right? There's plenty of you viewers out there that are watching right now, and you've got a question and you're just too scared to say it, just put it in there. This is a safe forum. There's no judgment here. Stick it in the chat. I will help the best I can. If you don't fancy sticking it in the chat where everyone can see, you can always email me at Minis-N-Muscles. That's minis and then N for the letter, muscles, at gmail.com. And I will try to answer your email for you. Thank you. Right, back to our model. Right, what we got left? What we got? So we said we was going to do these on the front, didn't we? We said we was going to do the lights on the front. So for that, we're going to need our wet palette. Just checking that my wet palette's wet because I've left it open, silly, whilst I was doing all the shading. But we're going to need some yellows. So, and we're going to have maybe an orange, maybe a blue. So with light, or maybe a green actually. For lights and things like that on models, I always try and pick out some crazy colours. So I've got these kind of colours that I pick out. I like nice bright colours. Just pick them out and stick with those. I have just pulled out that blue, but because the vehicle is blue, I'm not going to use that. I'll stick with these four. I've got two yellows, two different yellows. I've got Dawn Yellow and Avalon Sun. I've got Fire Dragon Bright Orange and Moot Green. So let's shake these up using the old shaker machine. There we go, shaky shaky. And let's go back to our actual conversation. Our actual conversation for today is fitting your geek hobbies into real life. And we were just talking about sort of quick wins. So that being things like instead of spending an hour doing a hobby, spend 15 minutes, like I said about, in between going for my lunch during work today, I sprayed these black. Nothing wrong with utilising a bit of downtime just to get something done on your minis. That's a quick win. That is perfect. That's exactly what I'm talking about, those kind of things. What about family or partner buy-in? So, time is of the essence, and you can never fit in all of the hobby that you want to do, right? That's kind of fact, and that goes for anyone doing any hobby, whether that's the gym or geek stuff, right? So how can you get, if you're someone that is in a relationship or someone that is in a family unit, so I don't know, you live with your parents or whatever, how do you get to spend more of your time doing the things you like? Well, what about buy-in from your family member? And by buy-in, I mean get those people to like what you do. So, show everybody in your family what you do and why you do it. Get them to give it a go. You never know if a family member might turn around and go, oh, bloody hell, I well like that. That's a great idea. I love painting a model because it does X, Y, Z or blah, blah, blah. Make sure you get family buy-in. It can help massively when you are trying to convince people to spend some time doing a model which allows you to spend more time doing your hobby. So, family or partner buy-in. Remember that one. So if you've got if you're a lady that's watching or a guy that's watching, you've got a boyfriend or girlfriend that, you really want to get into the hobby purely in a kind of selfish way almost, so you can spend more time doing yours. Well, why don't you get them to try the hobby with you? Perfect idea. Optimus in the chat. Hey Optimus, how are you? Hope all is well. You sent a new shirt. Yeah, I've got a new vest on tonight. Well, I say a new vest. It's not a new vest at all. It's a very old vest, but it's not the usual grey vest tonight. I do have to wash the grey vest occasionally, and I'll do the sort of once a year wash. That's a joke, by the way. It does get washed more than once a year. It's just that I hadn't done the washing and got all that gym gear washed. So, yeah, you've got me in a grey or a black vest tonight, unfortunately. Or fortunately. I don't know what this vest is. It's a Hulk Hogan vest I got from Hogan's Beach Shop in Florida. So, yeah, I don't know if people are Hulk Hogan fan. I'm not particularly a Hulk Hogan fan. I just got it because I was in his beach shop and I thought it was quite cool. Yeah, so in a new vest tonight. But thank you for noticing, Optimus. So what we're doing now is just painting these lights. And on these is quite nice because they've got like they're a grid effect. So it's like they've got a metal bar grid that goes over the light itself. And because of that, you can actually just paint over the bar because you're going to do that silver. So put the colour of the light on there. It doesn't matter if you go over the edges. Go over, put all that colour in, and then once it's dry we can just go over the silver very lightly and pick out the sort of bars that go across it. We'll get a red actually. Let's grab a red whilst we're here. I'm starting to wonder how long you'd owned the grey one. Yeah. Yeah, I do wash it in between, Optimus, don't worry. It's just that I hadn't at that point got my washing done for the week, so yeah, just hadn't washed it is all. In time for the show, that is. There's that one there. So we've got we've got three lights. We've got a sort of a lightish colour. I don't think you can quite see those because of the way my lighting is. But I'll see if I can get another camera on it in a minute. But we've got three lights there, and I've gone for sort of a light yellow, a sort of more darker yellow, and then a red. And then there's some other bits there which I'll do in silver. Do I want silver? No, let's go for gold actually. Because otherwise we've got a lot of silver on this already, so why not a bit of gold? Or maybe bronze actually, maybe bronze. Yeah, let's go for bronze. Bronze is good. There you go. Oh, dropping that. Yeah, so the last thing we were talking about the geeks and getting your sort of how to get more geek time in for you. Well, what about, my suggestion was, what about family or friend buy-in? So family, friend, partner buy-in. Get them to enjoy the hobby as well. That means that selfishly you get more time to do your hobby, right? Not a bad thing. It means you know, sharing the joy of hobbies with people. They can enjoy it with you. You get more time doing the thing that you love, and they get to love a new hobby too. It's a win-win situation all around. And a sneaky win for you. I do need a silver actually, don't I? Yes, I think I do. Oh, just an itchy shoulder. Let's shake that up. So what about you guys? How do you fit your geek hobbies into your daily work? So Adrian, Optimus, Elias, if you're still there, Squarish, if you're still there, those that are watching that I can't see, because I can see the numbers there. So if you're watching the channel, tell me how you get your geeky hobbies into your, into your day. How do you squeeze it in? I'd love to know. Drop it in the chat. Let's talk about it. So what about when real life kind of interrupts you, and you're sort of going about your business and you're trying to do your hobbying, and real life just gets in the way. So a great example of this, and I'll use an example for me, is I used to volunteer for Game Therapy UK as part of the Tactical Advance to Game Military Veterans section, and work just got too much. So what was happening was, where I was volunteering with Tactical Advance to Game and GT UK, plus work, plus trying to squeeze all my hobbies in, it was just too much, and I couldn't, and something had to give. It was either, breaking myself or breaking, my commitment to something. Work pays the bills, so unfortunately, I had to step back a little bit from GT UK, which I'm sad about, but it's for the best. Because I couldn't give what I wanted to give to the charity, and I had been doing it for 2 years anyway. But I couldn't give as much as I wanted to the charity, and also I just ran out of time through all of the other things. So I was kind of touched on it earlier when I was saying in life you don't really get anything without sacrificing something, and I had to sacrifice, unfortunately, GT UK, but that did enable me to continue doing my other things like this, which is good for me as a person, as an individual, helps me with things. So that's actually a good thing, right? It's good to be able to do this. And hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. What's Optimus saying? I fit in by staying up far too late after the kids, after the kinds are in bed, but I'm sure you mean kids, in bed, and I've got some time spare to myself. Yeah, so again, so you're sacrificing, Optimus, sleep. So you're sacrificing sleep to fit in your geek hobbies, which is absolutely fine. I'm not saying that's necessarily the best thing to do for your own health, but in terms of being fine, as in, you know, sacrificing something to get in a geek hobby. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you might be a little bit more tired. You might need an old man's sleep sometimes. But that does mean that you will be able to do your geek hobbies. And they're really important, right? Super important. So make sure you can and do those if you can. Make those little sacrifices here and there. They won't be massive. Right, we've got some little... What I've done on this part here, you can't quite see because of the light, so apologies. Just here, there's a couple of sort of little lights or dials or whatever you want to call them. So I've painted them with silver first. And I've got a contrast paint. I'm just going to go over the silver with contrast paint. This one's like a sort of pinky red. And it's called Doomfire Magenta. Sounds pretty cool. I'm just going to go over the silver in Doomfire Magenta. And what happens, because you've undercoated it in silver, you get like this really cool kind of metallic look that comes through. So give it a try. Undercoat in silver, get your contrast paint and go over the top. I think it looks cool as heck. Give it a whirl, see what you think. What about those other people on the channel? I see you all hiding away. Not saying nothing. Come on, chat to me. Tell me how you are. Right, a little bit of green on that one. In fact, let's go green here as well. There we go. A little bit of green on these ones. Sometimes a bit difficult to get the right amount on, especially when you've got this bloody thing right in your face because you're trying to get the light right. Okay, well, never mind. Oh gosh, just smashed my paintbrush then. That went good. Okay, so we need a little bit more silver. We just need to fix the little grills that go over these lights here. So they have like a silver edge and they have these sort of metallic little bars that run through them. So it's always worth just lightly go gentle on the amount of paint you've got on your brush. You don't need loads of it. You might need, like I'm going to have to do, is put on my geek glasses just so I can see what I'm looking at. But stick on your geek glasses, have a little look at things up close. Gives you a better view of things. Oh, I can't even see with it. This light. I'm going to have to do something with the light in this room. It's awful. Apologies for the silence. I'm just trying to get this bit done. And it's not very nice when you've got this thing right in front of your face. There we go. That's one side done. Ugh. Now for the other side. So what else do you guys do to fit your hobbies in? How do you do it? That's what I want to know. I've kind of shared with you a few ideas about what you can do to make sure that you fit in your geek hobbies. But I'd love to know from you guys how you do it yourself. Gosh, this is really not very nice with this right in my face. I don't like it. Right, this weekend, I'm going to go and buy a new bloody light fitting. I'm sick to death of the one I've got. So a new light fitting is inbound. I will buy it and fit it this weekend. I don't think I've got anything else on, so fairly quiet weekend, which is nice, you know. Bugger. What else is everyone else's plans for the weekend? What are you all doing for the weekend? Tell me. I'd love to know. What are you doing for the weekend? Come on, drop it in the chat. What are you doing for the weekend, guys? Got loads of people online. Come on. Don't leave me hanging here talking to myself like a madman. Help me out. I'd love to know what you guys are doing for the weekend. So I said to you, I'm not doing anything apart from I'm going to try and find a new light fitting. What are you guys going to do for the weekend? Any plans? Anyone got any geek games coming? I really need to get a geek game in, I think. Optimus, are you going to paint some OLS from the engines? OLS from the engines? What's OLS from the engines? Optimus, you're going to have to elaborate, sir. I'm being rather thick and I don't know what the heck you're talking about. OLS from the engines. OLS from the engines. I don't know. What do you mean, OLS? Oh, are you going to paint something off the engines? What, smoke or something? Or OLS? What's OLS? OLS. Oh, light source? Oh, light source. Is it something light source? Is that what you're saying? Possibly. I mean, you wouldn't get it on the front end of these because these are turbines, right? So you wouldn't get it on the front. You would get something on the back. So, like on the back here, what we could do is we could put some cotton wool, and we would dip some cotton wool in various different contrasts to go from, you know, red to orange or something. Object light source, so the glow from the fire or light, for example. Yeah. Yeah, so could do. Could do, but the best thing for that is usually a, what's it called? Air gun. You can do it with a brush, but it's not as easy. So probably not on this model, I would say. Given the time as well, I don't tend to do huge detail on these big models, if I'm honest with you, mate. Not because I can't, it's more because I can't be bothered. Like this model, for example, has taken quite a few sessions with you guys on the lives to do, right? And it's only at this point now. If you were to go in and do all of that stuff, it just takes forever, and I kind of lose patience with stuff quite quickly. So these big models, I don't tend to do a huge amount of detail on. I get sick of it, if I'm honest. I'm already at the point where I'm itching to start a new model, and I've still got stuff to do on this. So I would say no, probably not. Look how bad this light is; it's horrid. Just trying to think how I could possibly change this here. Well, that was up here. Let's see. Let's see. No, it's still crap. No. Yeah, I'm just going to have to get a new light because this is awful and I can't see nothing. It's a pain in the bum. Anyway, let's take a 2-second break from the painting and talk about our hobby horror moment. Doosh! Change over the camera. Take off those crazy shades. They're not shades, they're geek glasses as I call them. But we're going to talk about our hobby horror moment and we're going to talk about the bidding black hole. Whilst I take a swig of water. And yes, Optimus, you will get to choose the new model. So as soon as this one's done, I will go and grab a load of models and normally bring them on screen, show you all the models that we have to choose, and do a quick vote. That's how it normally works. That's how we've done all the last few, actually, to be fair. It's just a quick vote. You guys decide on what you want me to paint, and I paint it. So what was the one before this? I think it was Bearded Veteran chose to do a diorama with D&D figures, and I did that one. Then before that, we had someone choose a dragon and loads of other stuff. So yeah, basically, I bring a load of models on. You guys choose. It's a quick vote. So that's what we'll do next time. Hobby horror moment, though. Dum, dum, dum. In fact, we should go to this music, shouldn't we? Slightly more dramatic. So, our hobby horror. What do I mean by hobby horror? What is a hobby horror? Well, I shall tell you, people. A hobby horror is a moment where you're doing your geek hobby, whatever that is, whether it's Pokemon, Warhammer, gaming, whatnot, and something goes drastically wrong. Okay, it goes drastically wrong and you lose the will to live because it's all ending, right? So I talk about something every week that's usually gone wrong with me, as in when I've been doing a geeky thing and it's all gone Pete Tong. And I ask you guys to show or share with me what your hobby horrors are as well, so we can have a quick chat about those. But this week, I wanted to talk about the bidding black hole. What do I mean by the bidding black hole, I hear you cry? Well, there is these wonderful sites, and we won't name no names, but these wonderful second-hand selling sites that we can go on, isn't there? And these second-hand selling sites have wonderful geeky objects. It could be anything you're looking for, from comics to Pokemon cards, to old retro games, to, you know, D&D figures, Warhammer models, whatever it is. They're all on these sites, right? So I'm a little bit addicted to these. And as we know from my pile of shame, I have quite a collection of things. It doesn't stop me from buying them when I get in these moments. And the bidding black hole is sometimes what I fall into. Now, I was on this, I won't say the site, I was on the site a couple of weeks back, and I was looking for a new model. So I was, don't know why I've got the thumbs down. I was looking for a new model, and I was looking for some models for my Sisters of Battle army. And I found some models that I liked, and I was like, right, okay, I'll get these ones. They were like sprayed black, and that was it. Some were made, some weren't, and I was like, great, found them, brilliant. I'll bid on them. Thought I was winning. I got to the last hour, still winning. Got to the last 30 minutes, still winning. I was like, geez, I've got this for a right old still. Like within about 5 minutes left, it went up, boom. And it went up, and I was like, damn it. And I did the typical thing of, you know, adding a pound, adding a pound, adding a pound. It was going up and up and up. And I got to the point where I'd actually gone probably slightly above what I was originally prepared to pay. It wasn't more than the original off-the-shelf cost, but more than what I wanted to pay. Because I was like, no, damn it. I'm not being outbid by this son of a gun. So I was like, yes, that is it. I am buying it. I'm getting it. And so I bid it up, and it went up, and it ended up being, because I got into this bidding black hole, got sucked in by the tantalising feelings of these bidding sites. Got sucked in and then overpaid from what I originally wanted by a couple of pounds, and only got the item, well, I say more than a couple of pounds, about £8, £9 over. And I only got the item for literally a couple of pounds cheaper than I would have got it through the shops anyway. So it was kind of a loss lead. It wasn't really a point. So I wanted to kind of talk about, don't get sucked in. I got sucked in. I've been sucked in now, and that's fine. Happy with that. I'll live with it. Don't you get sucked in as well. This is not good. The bidding black hole is real, people. You need to be aware of it because we love things as geeks and we love spending our money on geek shit. And we will buy that stuff, but just don't get sucked in by the bidding black hole. It's there. It's a real thing. It happens. It's happened to me. It can happen to you. It's a trap. It always starts small, and then you have to win, and then you bid it up, and then you get into these sort of emotions versus logic part, and you even become sort of into a little battle with the person because you don't want to lose out. Then you get the fear of missing out, and you're like, no, I'm going to miss this amazing bargain. And you just go for it. And then you get a post-win regret. So, when you hit that post-win regret moment, you celebrate that you've won, but actually you get a little bit frustrated because you've kind of overpaid of what you originally should have. And it's real. It happens. So, be aware. The bidding black hole exists, people. It's dangerous. It can suck you in too. What we're saying in chat, so Optimus is saying this week's Hobby Horror got £220 worth of 90s Dark Elves for 60. Bought to sell them on, but as usual I'm keeping them. Man, 220 quid of Dark Elves for 60 quid. To be fair, £60, man, is awesome for Dark Elves, so that's really cool. That's a good buy. So I don't blame you in keeping them. I've done the same before where I've also bought stuff I don't necessarily need, or I've got a load of Eldari and I've kind of painted a fair amount of them and they're over there, but I don't use them. I've not got the codex for Eldari. I just thought they looked cool and I bought a load, never used them. So yeah, I know the feeling, I know the pain. It's a bit like the bidding black hole. You kind of get sucked into to buying things. Oh man, these geek hobbies, they're gonna kill us, people. They really are gonna kill us, aren't they, these geek hobbies? So, final thought on bidding black hole: set a limit and walk away. All right, be the bigger person, people. Walk away from those bidding black holes. Anyway, that is our hobby horror. Let's wang straight back over here, and then get this on the go. Whoop. Alrighty, so what was we doing? Oh yeah, I was doing those lights on the front, wasn't I? Okay, cool. I just want to sprinkle a little bit of our concealer. We'll call it concealer. It's a bit like makeup, ladies, alright? Hides all the blemishes. Or gents. Some gents wear makeup nowadays, don't they? So it hides the blemishes. Get your contrast or shades out. Shade paints, that is. And if you've got an area that is a little bit more difficult to reach or harder to paint, you can always use your shade paints just to go over and cover that area. You'll still get the colour coming through. However, it will cover, generally speaking, any mistakes and tidy up what you've just painted. So always worth doing. Looks very cool. Just if you have too much of the shade colour, just remember to take it off. Just use your brush in the same manner that you put it on. Just use your brush, dip it over the area and take it off again. Works in the same fashion. There we go. Just painting that on there. Lovely jubbly. Okay, got that. Cool. Alrighty. Okay, so I think we're pretty much set here, aren't we? I don't want to do much more detail than what I've already done to this. There's a couple of... Let's do the little things, Steve. Come on, there are a couple of little things we can do tonight. I reckon we'll finish this though tonight. That means next week we will have a new model to paint, so we'll have a vote on that. So Optimus, you will be very happy about that. You shall be involved in the vote. There's a couple of little bits left. There's a couple of skulls and some looks like rope and things like that I haven't painted. So we'll get those painted tonight. Won't take too long. Probably paint them in the next 5 minutes or so. What we're saying in chat, other hobby horror this week is airbrush clogging and cleaning. Yeah. So to be fair, hobby horror from me. Bought an airbrush, never used it. So, you know, what does that say? Apart from being a fool and not using it, I've just never used it. Not that I don't want to. I will give it a go. but I just need to get it out the box and actually bloody use it. Well, it is out the box and I have set it up, but I just haven't used it. Maybe that's something I can do this weekend. Dear me. Another hobby horror, eh? Buying stuff and never using it. Oh, I forgot to say actually, I did get some cool stuff this week. I got some Warhammer scenery, some Warhammer terrain. So I found very well-priced individual that was selling some Warhammer terrain that was all painted. So it meant I didn't even have to paint anything, which was very nice, because it just means you can stick it out on the table and use it. Awesome. And I found those and paid for those with some money that I made from selling other things. So it didn't cost me anything either. Absolutely awesome. So I got these items for free. They were really good. So I was well chuffed about that. That was a good win for the week. Not necessarily a horror moment. There's these tiny little skulls just under here that I forgot to paint. You can't quite see them in that angle. There you go. Just there. Get those painted. What are we saying in the chat? 5e games is scheduled on tag. I usually post day before reminders. Are you going to paint a black hole in the middle of the heavy bolters for the barrels? Yeah, I probably will, Adrian, to be fair. I probably will. But it's just getting round to doing those little bits. It's like, if you're not, and again, I like this item, but it's not, you know, critical to an army or anything like that. And I just think, do I need to paint it? That extra detail, that extra little bit? Not really. Right, there's that. Is there any more little skulls or anything? Have I missed anything? Got little skulls there. So what I just did... Oh god, light's going crap again. Sorry guys. What I just did was, just above the door here, there's a little rope thing that I've just painted. There's a little skull just under here that I've painted. Skulls are all under there, are all painted. They're all good. All the lines. There's that little bit. So here there's a little control panel. So let's just do that quick, because that's easy enough. So we'll go for red for down. And then we'll go for green for up, right? Da-da-da. Maybe we'll put the yellow in the middle. Green. There you go, there's the green button done. And there's the yellow one in the middle. Lovely. Okay, cool. So there's that little bit done. That's cool. It's just little things like that, I think, are more than enough to bring out the cool little bits of the model. As I said, we could put some smoke coming out the back of these. That'd be quite smart. But I'm not gonna. It's just time, man. It's just time. So what else? Anything else do we need to do to this before we say goodbye to our gunship? So let's just bring this into front view and drop this down. Move this out the way. So what do we reckon? So here's our gunship. Oh yeah, black on the end of the bolters. Yeah, I'll do those in a sec, Adrian. So what do we reckon? Not bad, right? Looks okay. Looks a bit sparse, I guess. Could put some flames on the back. There's the underside. There you go. What do we reckon? Not bad, eh? Looks okay, doesn't it? So we'll quickly do the black then, shall we? Just for those bolters. Let's just whip these out of the way. Get some black out. Anything else that we need to do on this model? let me know. Drop a comment in. Let's just quickly do these. There we go. Yeah, so tonight's been a good old chat about how to fit in your geek hobbies into real life. Sort of little tips and tricks on how to fit them in so you can sort of squeeze in as much geekery as possible during the week, because that's obviously the most important thing in the world. I am joking when I say that. It's not always the most important thing in the world. There are, of course, times where other things are far more important. Damn. Freehand circles. Not very good at them. I'll redo those in a minute. I've got the little bolters on the edge. Let's do those. Oh, I've just not turned the camera across. Sorry, guys. What I might do, actually, to make this easier on myself, I might just put the black on and then redo the silver edge. I think that's actually probably going to be easier. So if I just change the camera here just to show you. So all I'm doing on these, I've not actually centered the dot at all. I've just banged the black on. And then I'm going to take this, once it's dried, I'm going to just go around with the silver around the edge, because doing a small edge line I find easier than drawing a circle that is circular in black. So we'll do that. There we go. Stick those on there. Lovely. Any other bits? What we're saying? Black charring at the ends from soot, etc. Yeah, again, it's detail, Adrian, that I just don't want to do on this model. It's not that we couldn't. We could spend, the next 10 episodes continuing this model and never finishing it. And that's the problem that you run into, right? You could spend so long in doing this, and the channel's not really about making models as picture perfect, ready for the golden demon. Actually, what the channel's about is quick and easy ways to paint models so they look effective on the table, and people can play the game and enjoy painting. Plus as well, if I painted this for the next 10 episodes, you guys would be bored to hell. And I think I already probably bore a lot of you anyway, so I think making the painting process as interesting as possible by changing the model and keeping it fresh is probably a better thing to do. Unless the audience completely disagrees, that is. And you want me just to continue to paint on this and do this model, then of course I would be happy to oblige. There you go. I just did a quick tidy up on the red on some of them bolts on the side. Oh, there's only 10 minutes left of the show. No way. Oh man, that sucks. So what I'm going to try and do now is just do the edge in silver, which I find is just a bit easier than trying to draw the black circle. Bugger, he says that and he goes and stuffs that right up. Yeah, not so keen. Didn't put my geek glasses on, so hands a bit shaky, and not done a very good job there. Get some more silver. I'm going to find a better way to do these. Probably off stream actually. So I'm not happy with how these have turned out. I would find another way to do those. But we get the point. They're done. Alrighty. Don't blame us when your opponent doesn't take the damage as there's nowhere for the bolts to get out. Mate, if I was playing you in Warhammer and you said that to me, I'd walk away from the table. Put it that way. Alright, so we've got her done. She's finished. The gunship. There we go. In all her beauty. Let's just change that to there. In all her beauty, she's looking good. She's pretty sweet. Looks pretty smart. It's not perfect, but it's more than table ready. It looks good, certainly at a distance. There's lovely little details, including like on the dash of the sort of pilot's seat. That looks pretty cool. And on the little servitor on the top as well. So there are little details on there that are good, but we just didn't spend all day on it. But it looks really nice. Once we get it on the stand, again, it will look awesome on the battlefield. So, huzzah! Another model done here on Minis-N-Muscles. That is epic. That will go onto the side and look super smart in my collection for my Ultramarines. I actually really like that. That's cool. I was reading about the stats and how this operates actually on the table when you're playing Warhammer, and it's quite an interesting vehicle to use. So, yeah, but crap stand, I must admit. And I wouldn't want to glue it in because then you can't take it off. So it's not a very good stand. I don't like that. How does that? How does this work? Is that the right way? Yeah, I think that's okay. Alrighty, cool. Well, there we go, peeps. Another model done. Again, not perfect, but that is not why we're here. We are here to make models fast, quick, easy, find little cheats and tricks to get around painting models quickly, to get them on the table to look awesome and cool. So, that leads us to the question, what are we going to paint next? So, Optimus, I hope you're still listening, bro. So we have plenty of things to paint. I'm just thinking, what do I get out? Do I open a new box? Do we go with the sisters? So this is tough. Right, okay. Looking at that. No. Maybe that. I don't know. I'm just going to pop this way and see what I've got in my box. So, yeah. I'm just checking to see what I've got in terms of models, and we've got lots here. So we've got that, so we could bring that in. What else have we got over here? Sorry guys, I am looking for things to paint. Trust me, I am still here. See, look, I'm just looking for models so you can have a quick vote on what we do next. Right, there's that. I'm looking for non-Warhammer models actually, but I can't actually. Oh, they're Warhammer as well. That's a single model, that would be interesting. Okay, so I've grabbed a load of models, trying to fish them all out. Let's have a little vote and see what we want to paint. Oh, there we go. Back on the chair. Okay, people, let's move this out the way. We need to vote on what we paint next here on Minis-N-Muscles. I've got loads of stuff in front of me. So, I mentioned earlier about Captain Titus from the Space Marines, the Ultramarines. I've got Captain Titus, the model. Okay, the commemorative series one. He is there in a box, ready to paint. Captain Titus, he is an option. What else have we got? We have got Space Marine Reavers. Okay, so we've got Space Marine Reavers box set. So they look quite cool with the little masks and stuff that they've got on. So we've got those to paint. You can see quite a few of the things that are on the top of my box of Space Marines. Primaris Eradicators. We've got these three guys with big old beefy melter guns. So we've got those. I have got this Kill Team set, Blood and Zeal. So in the back of there, we've got the top set of models there. I gave the other models to a friend of mine, but the top set of models is for my Sisters of Battle army. So we could paint this set. I can't remember what they're bloody called now. Sanctifiers, that's what they're called. The Sanctifiers. Can you see those there? Got Sanctifiers. We've got this lovely lady, Malaneth Witchblade. She's a cool little model. Got her. And I've got a little dwarf model here as well for a D&D model. So the only D&D model I could find is this guy that's in... Oh, that way. This guy that's in there. So a little dwarf with his hammer look. So I've got him as well. Alright, so we've got the dwarf. We've got... Oh, paper's sticking to me. Malaneth, the Witchblade. So a single female sort of model with swords. She's pretty cool. We've got the Blood and Zeal kill team, the Sanctifiers, those top ones there. So all of those models. So there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 models there to paint. And they're all individual looking as well. So that's actually a really cool kill team to paint. Because they all look different. They're not the same model, which is smart as. Then we've got the 2 Space Marines here. We got, in fact, I'm going to bin these ones. I think we should get rid of these. So let's narrow the choice down, right? We've got the kill team set. Okay, so these guys here, the Sanctifiers. We've got Lieutenant Titus, Captain Titus. We've got Malaneth Witchblade. And we've got the dwarf with his big hammer. What do we do, guys? What should we vote for? Can I put polls in this? I don't know, actually. I don't think I can put polls in the chat. Let me see. Participants. I can't see how to do a poll. Oh, there you go. Start a poll. Here we go. What model? So, this is Sanctifier Kill Team. This is Malaneth Witchblade. This is Lieutenant Titus. And this one is... we're just going to call him D&D Dwarf. So there's our 1, 2, 3, 4 options. There we go. The poll is live. Alrighty, so take a vote on the poll. See what you think. Right, here we go, here we go. Let's just open that up. Ooh, Sanctifier Kill Team's getting votes already. So just to go through the models again. In fact, let's do the drop down pick. Top down. In fact, go that way. So we've got Lieutenant Titus from the Ultramarines. So it's just this guy, not any of the Tyranids around him. Just this guy in the middle. He's pretty cool. We've got this lovely lady, Malaneth Witchblade. We have got, ironically, a dwarf model. Because actually, Malaneth Witchblade from the Age of Sigmar actually goes with... I think she comes from the Gotrek stories. And Gotrek is a dwarf, I believe. Or is he the human? I can't remember. But I think Malaneth is related to a dwarf adventurer in the Age of Sigmar thingy. We've got this dwarf here. So this dwarf with his big hammer. So we've got this guy to paint. He's quite a small little model, actually. And then we've got the kill team. Boof! Just bring them in. So let's see what you get in the kill team box. So all of these models here. So let's just scan across. They're all different as well, so they're quite nice. There you go. Some with flamers, some with chain swords, look. What else we got? A little electric prod with a cherub there. Then you've got a Death Cult Assassin there with blades. I've just literally painted some Death Cult Assassins, actually. There's Malaneth back in the shot. There's Titus back in the shot. There's our dwarf back in the shot. He looks tiny, doesn't he, now? So there are options, peeps. What do we fancy? What do we fancy painting? Stick your vote in. Vote now. Vote now. There we go. Just stick that there. If we zoom out a little bit, I can fit more in. There we go. You can see those three at least. So what are we doing on the votes? Come on. Dwarf. Felix is the human. Yeah. What's the bloody dwarf's name? Felix is a human. Oh, yeah, so Gotrek is the dwarf. Yeah, Gotrek and Felix, that's it. I'm pretty sure Malaneth Witchblade is related to Gotrek, not as in related blood-wise, but related in the sense of they are connected in the stories somehow. I'm pretty sure. So, Malaneth, dwarf, Lieutenant Titus, or the Sanctifiers. So it looks like Lieutenant Titus has got no votes. D&D Dwarf's got no votes. Malaneth Witchblade has got some votes, and the Sanctifiers has got some votes. Come on, we need one more vote to swing it either way, because currently the Sanctifiers and Malaneth are winning. So let's take these out the frame. Let's not even talk about Lieutenant Titus or the Dwarf. We've got Malaneth Witchblade there. Let's push her to the top of the frame. And let's see if we can... In fact, no, we'll probably have to do it this way. There we go. So we've got these guys here, the Sanctifiers, and then we've got Malaneth Witchblade as well. So we've got these guys here, and we've got this one model. Ooh, what do we paint? What do we paint? That is the next. Come on, we need one more vote, people. I can see you in the chat. Come on, one more vote is all we need. And then we can log off for that. We're 3 minutes past 9, so we've actually gone over. Come on, come on, come on! Get that one more vote in and we can close off the poll. Otherwise, we'll have to go into the end of the show without knowing. Oh my lord, I've just seen the face of this one, right? If I can zoom in quickly. Can you see the face of this one? Look at the face on that. Jeez. She's quite cool though, this one. Malaneth Witchblade, I quite like her. She's quite a smart model. So you've got the one model, and we just concentrate on one. Or we can go crazy, and we can go for loads of these models here. So this is what you get in the box. And these actually join my Sisters of Battle army, which is quite nice. He's quite cool actually. I quite like this guy here in the corner with the like burning torch. That's quite smart. And a plasma gun as well. On a rope. What are you saying, Adrian? How does it look on the flight stand? So let's go to here and let's do that. And let's get this on. There we go. There she is on the flight stand. That is our gunship that we finished today. Looking lovely. Proper cool gunship that is. Does look funky. So I like that a lot. Very much I like. Well, it looks like we're still 50-50. So what I might do is I might continue the vote onto the next show. Because we are 5 minutes past 9 and we normally finish at 9 o'clock. So if I end the poll there, and we've got a draw currently, and you can see there the draw. I only had 2 votes. Come on, there's more than that watching. There's more than 2 people watching. So you can see the votes though there. So fingers crossed, you'll be able to take a look later perhaps at the video, then maybe next week we will decide what model we paint. It's between two. It's between Malaneth Witchblade and this Sanctifier Kill Team. Both have a vote each, so we will find a model to paint next week because we finish a gunship. So that's great. That's awesome. Aside from that, given it's the end of the show, appreciate every single one of you for staying in, hanging in there, listening to me witter on about absolute rubbish. It has been, as always, an absolute pleasure to speak to you all. Appreciate every single one of you, especially those that like the videos and stuff, and thank you very much for doing that. It really, really helps with the old algorithm to reach more people. So when this video is finished, make sure you like the video once it's published onto YouTube. That helps. If you want to stick a comment in there, then please do. That's also very helpful. Aside from that, have an awesome geeky weekend. Get yourself out, do some geek stuff, enjoy it, whether it's painting a model, whether it's going to your local game store, playing a board game, whatever that is. Geek it up, enjoy it. Geeks have all the fun. Get out there if you can and do a little bit of fitness, whether it's a walk around the park or whether it's going to the gym. Enjoy your weekend. All right? I will see all of you next week. If you haven't joined the Discord as well, make sure you do. Jump on in there and share the YouTube channel with all of your friends. All right? Adrian just dropping in the channel there. So did you do the HBs at the front? HBs, heavy bolts at the front? Yes, we did. We did the heavy bolters at the front. Yes, sir. Anyway, I will catch all of you very, very soon. Appreciate every single one of you. Stay safe. Keep it geeky. And I will speak to you next week. Ta-ra for now.
Minis-N-Muscles, we're heroes, right? The dying world's still mighty skies. Crushing air, where power we fight. Strength that breaks you, night in the night. Where the brawn meets the brawn. Just story stone. In this love imagination mode. With every stroke, adventures unfold. Minis-N-Muscles, heart and soul. To explore, roll the future, hear the dice roar. Gaming realms of muscles drawn together in this place where we belong. Doting spells, casting dreams until the dawn, leveling up and the world to follow. With painted heroes shining bright, venturing on.